Thank you, Ravi. Good morning, friends. Uh, Professor Pillai, Professor Maitre, uh, Dr. R.P. Singh, Dr. M.P. Narayan, my friend and colleague, Mr. N. Ravi Shankar, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, First, let me compliment Digital Learning to have organized this very, very important conference on different aspects of higher education. You heard Mr. Ravi Shankar talking about information technology and how it can be leveraged to take care of the quantitative and qualitative aspects of education in the country. I'll be dealing with a different aspect of education, and that is vocationalization. We're talking about quality and excellence in higher education. Now, if we talk in terms of quality and excellence, how do you measure? Of course, there will be requirement of physical infrastructure, classrooms, laboratories, qualified teachers, teaching material, content, and all that which is required for accreditation of an institution. There is another aspect which we need to look into very carefully, and that is whether the education which is being imparted to the students is relevant to the needs of the society or not. That's something which is very, very important. There is a raging debate in the academic circles that education is being adulterated by infusion of technical or vocational inputs. And there has been quite a debate, and academicians feel that the purpose of education is much higher. It is not only to earn your livelihood. It is much, much bigger, much, much sacrosanct. Agreed. Education has a higher purpose. It enables the person to think rationally and look at the world from the window of his enlightenment through education. But can it be divorced from the realities of the society? Can it be divorced from the requirement of the different sectors of economy, their needs of skilled manpower? There is all of you know, there is a very, very growing demand by the industry of skilled manpower. But unfortunately, we are teaching millions of students every year. On the one hand, the industry is crying for skilled manpower, and on the other hand, the industry is crying for. We have millions and millions of youth who are looking for jobs, and somehow we have not been able to marry the two. There is a mismatch. We require huge manpower, and the kinds of graduates we are producing, graduates, postgraduates we are producing, they are not acceptable to the industry. So, why this kind of situation has arisen? There is a dichotomy between working with hands and working with minds. And probably this dichotomy, this divorce between working with hands and working minds has created this kind of situation. We send our children to do graduation or post-graduation in humanities or in commerce or in science, knowing very well that we are not going to give them jobs at the end of 3-year course or 5-year course, after their graduation or post-graduation. We are only postponing their unemployment. Are we going to give them a decent means of livelihood apart from education, apart from knowledge which they are going to acquire, which will of course give them capacity to rationally think? Now, somebody said quite long time back that a society where the people who work with their hands do not have access to education and those who have access to education consider it inferior to work with their hands. That's something very, very meaningful. If you're working with your hands, you need to improve your skills. You need to take it to higher levels. And therefore, you do need education. You do need technology so that you can take it to the next level. And if you are in the academics, you do need to use your academic tools to do research, to find out innovative ideas which can serve the needs of the society. And if we are not doing, probably we are not doing justice to either. Education world over is transforming, and transforming towards making this happen, we can meet the demands of different sectors of economy. I mean, take for example, Australia, they have system of what is known as TAFE, T-A-F-E, which means technical and further education. They don't call it higher education. And if you visit Sunshine campus of Sydney University, the first workshop you come across on the ground floor is the workshop of fitter, followed by electrician, followed by CNC, followed by different other workshops. Now, university imparting education which is relevant to the demands of the society. The boy does his certificate, then he does his diploma, then he does his graduation, then he does his post-graduation, all under one roof. He doesn't have to really worry about his career. And many of these boys and girls who go there, they get certificate or diploma, get employed, and continue their further education. And the department which is looking after this is what they call Department of Education, Employment and Work Relations. So, education leading to employment and leading to further the industrial relations which arise later on, the relations between the workers and the employers. So, all have been integrated, interwoven into one, and that is the beauty of that system. And you talk of Harvard, you talk of Oxford, you talk of Cambridge, all these universities, they have innovated themselves. They, in their governing boards, they have very sizable presence of the industry so that they can use that input for their reforming or modifying the course curriculum in order to meet the requirement of the industry. And that is why everybody is trying to go to Harvard, to Oxford, to Cambridge, to all different institutions where they have certainty, apart from acquiring knowledge, that they will be able to get a decent placement after doing that particular course. Need of the hour, therefore, is to engage our colleges, our universities, to restructure their course curricula in order to meet the growing demands of the industry in different sectors of economy, and change the whole system so that apart from being academic education, it also meets the needs of the society, and carry out research which is relevant for different sectors of economy. We did about 3 years back a limited experiment of involving industry in running up our industrial training institutes. You know, our placement used to be about 35 to 40%. Today, after just 3 years, involvement of the industry has made so much impact, the placement has gone to about 75 to 80%. Now, ITIs, we never thought that that will happen. They are organizing campus placements. And the boys and girls who do their courses in different disciplines, they are picked up by the industry from the campus itself. Now, that is the difference which it can make. And therefore, what is required is to occasionalize our education and academize our occasional training system. And if we are not going to do that, we are not really serving the needs of the society. We can produce graduates, we can produce postgraduates, but they will not be employable. And therefore, they are not useful citizens, economically useful citizens for the country. And, why can't a plumber do a PhD?